Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Luxembourg. Today, obviously, we're going to be playing in the HRE. I've been meaning to play in the HRE since they've gotten the Imperial Circles rework, and I think it would just be fun to experience the HRE without being a massive power. Sorry, everybody, Editor Brown Dog cutting in here very quickly. I have to do some channel ramblings for about a minute. As such, I know you all have very short attention spans, so here's a video of a cute stock animal, either a puppy or a kitten, depending on whatever I find. As such, stare at this, and you might see me jingle some keys for you too, you little Subway surfers. Right before we jump into the setup, I have to do the obligatory who's a what's it. So please, if you're watching the video, like, comment, subscribe, do all the doodly doos. We are trying to get to 1,000 subs. I'm currently sitting at about 630. Thank you all very much. I have to do these because it's a noticeable bump when I do it in subscriber count. On top of that, I have been streaming, or trying to, and I will be streaming every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. GMT. That is London time. So if you're around, come on, say hi. Normally it's EU5, although I'm open to input if anybody has something they want to see played live. That kind of goes well. And last but not least, in the housekeeping, I have, for as long as I've been doing videos, been collecting a list of painful runs, which I should be showing now. Not for too long. I don't want to give away all my video secrets. Most importantly, on that list, there is a promise I made a long time ago and I'm regretting, which is a Bulgamist Albania Roman Empire, which specifically would somehow be taking an Albanian tag, flipping to the Bulgamist heresy, and then conquering the borders of the peak Roman Empire, which I do intend to do. I possibly will do on stream after I finish the Test Venice run. But, so just keep your eye out for that. It certainly will be painful. Thank you for the listening to my drivel and preamble. Instead, we are going to be playing as Luxembourg. And what does Luxembourg have going for it at the start? Well, we have a PU with Bohemia, which really doesn't mean anything. We want to get out of this PU essentially as fast as possible, because we're never going to be in control of it, although it does act as quite a nice defensive alliance against things like France. Otherwise, don't actually have any crown privileges yet. Look quite average. Do we have any good RGOs in our land? A lot of iron. Makes sense, we're in the Rhine. We are split between a couple of cultures. That's right, we have our main culture, the Moselle Franconian, which is just German, and the Walloon, which is, yes, they are split between the Netherlandish, French, and German. That could be an interesting culture flip. Maybe we go Walloon and use that to have some nice, easy cultural integration. Curious, definitely something to think about. How diverse are we culturally? Yeah, we're almost half and half. Well, we're definitely going to accept the Walloon culture, and it would cost a bit to flip over, but otherwise, we will be giving ourselves autocracy. Of course, as always, we love some good autocracy. Agricultural cultivation for the early monthly progress to land, or Diplo rep to try and get the emperorship. You know what? We're going to aim high. We're going to aim for the HRE emperorship. We also we'll actually not give the nobility anything off the bat. We will give our clergy embellish great works of faith. We're not going to promote cultural unity off the bat, as it's going to take a long time for us to get anywhere near that powerful diocese, because having more clergy is generally a good thing. Advisory council, because council efficiency I do enjoy. Religious administration, because I do enjoy the communalism push. Burghers have Magdeburg rights, of course, which, what do those do for us? Give us pop attraction, but worse assimilation. And Nuremberg rights, which give us very similar things. Cool. We're also going to give our burghers... Do we have a trade zone? No, we are split between, we're split between Cologne, Bruges, and we're right on the border of Paris. Land of commerce, trade monopolies, treasury rights, and urban development grants. Our commoners, common militia, free mobility of the common people. We will also take the appeal to the commoners and then rip away communal lands. My nobility, just so they don't start rebelling, we will give elaborate court life, offensive military doctrine. All right, our estates are going to be somewhat powerful going forward. I'm expecting that we'll end up somewhere around 15% crown power off the bat. Immediately around us, does anybody... Okay, well, I guess we're declaring Trier to be our rival. I was going to take a look around. We also, topographically, I'm assuming we're in forests, because Germany is a big forest, pretty well. Forest and woods, although mostly hills, actually, not flatlands. Okay, so we're going to kind of struggle to push control out of Luxembourg. The heavy hitters around us are obviously, there's France to our south, Brabant to our west, and then a bunch of, well, German microstates to our east. The goal of this run, of course, being to form Germany. May be ambitious. If I get distracted along the way, I guess I could do the HRE, but I'd rather just do Germany, because Luxembourg, Luxembourgish is German, as far as I care to understand. How bad is the economy? We're not doing any trading at all. Okay. For my cabinet seats, I will have you increase control in my most valuable province, which is, of course, my capital. You will assimilate pops into Walloon in the capital, which I don't think will happen quickly, considering that is our primary culture, but it's worth checking just to see how slowly it'll go. Wow. Yep, no, it gets shot dead. Alright, no use doing that. Instead, just strengthen the government. Now we have a buttload of iron we can take advantage of, which is going to and lumber. So we have a massive tooling industry that we can do. And I suppose we hit on pause and see where the game takes us. We have a levy of 1,000 men. What content does Luxembourg have going for it? Absolutely none. It is simply we are playing as the funny Luxembourgish. In terms of HRE princes, yes, it isn't big like Bohemia, Austria, Brandenburg, but it's also not tiny like, who are you? Oh, you're the Teutons. Okay, that's a bad example. It's not tiny like Katzenlenbogen. So that is a fantastic name. That German, you are such a language. You sure do stuff. I just realized too, having our capital in Luxembourg, the flatland bonus that it's giving us is immediately being cut down by the fact we're surrounded by hills. So this flatland bonus doesn't do anything because we have to get through province after province of hills. Something tells me Luxembourg might get a town hall or not a town hall, a local governor, but I am not probably keeping my capital there. That's rough. Okay, well, our control might not be as bad as I thought. We do have some really nice rivers. Obviously, there's the Rhine running around here. I don't actually know what this branch would be called, though. That runs through Trier, Luxembourg, and Metz. But I imagine it's also a very important river. I really wish they would give us the name of the river. They give us the name for the wastelands, but not the rivers. Alrighty, with the nation's first parliament, I am going to use this to fabricate a CB on Liège for the town of Liège. I don't think I can take him in a fight yet. Probably not, considering Liège outnumbers me, and that's not counting his two allies, the very large Gelders. But if I can get Brabant on board, I can probably beat him up, so I just get to hold on to that CB for 10 years, and then once that war's going on, I can just do an emergency parliament to make up the lost time. It has been 3 years as Byzantium, and you already lost Constantinople to the Ottomans. I'm glad that they made them more aggressive, but dude. Alrighty, and as we load on into the Age of Renaissance, I, as always, have a preference for admin focus. But I think that Diplo focus with some of its Diplo rep boosting will definitely make a better, and the war score efficiency, especially in Germany, it'll make for a stronger nation, because I do want to end up as the emperor. I'm going to try an angle for that, and, buttering people up is a strong way to do that. Because I'm not worried about getting decked on, because I have Bohemian Watchdog behind me, but actually expanding from our little position. We're really sparse on pop compared to the rest of the land immediately around us. It's probably because we're sitting in the middle of forest. And also, on that note, any of the land we take from Liège, we're not really going to be able to push control to if we do take land from Liège. But I want it for the culture, so that I can culture swap to Walloon and start expanding using the Walloonian culture. You bunch of loonies. Either way, Brabant is willing to come and rip and tear on my accord. So this war should be a stomp. We're just going to go deck on into Liège. I'm going to raise my troops, try not to get wiped. That's the most important thing. And try and just lay claim to the land around me. Yeah, whatever. I might have to buy Brabant off with some Dutch land to the north, but other than that. Also, now that we're actually at war, I can call for an emergency parliament and hopefully get some laws passed. We'll claim we're supporting a noble cabinet. Ask for a law changed. What do we have going for us? Feudal administration, not great. By tradition, not great. Civil law, eh. Alrighty, well, seeing as we're kind of desperate to get more control pushed through our lands and just how bad our proximity efficiency is, definitely going to go for itinerant court. And I might even be moving my capital. I think if I could get my capital put in like Bastogne to push evenly through the country for the time being. Because again, Luxembourg is nice, it does have a lot of pops, but it's just kind of, well, it's surrounded by hills. And it's a flatlands, so I have a shit time pushing through hills. But that'll be dealt with once the king dies. Alrighty, from from the Gelders, we are just going to take all this money, war reps, and a bunch of random maps, I think, of the Middle East. A little bit. I mean, not like I could take much else from them. I don't need much else. And let's go and burn down some other OPMs while we just wait for Liege to get sieged out. Nice, beautiful, easy war against Liege. We're just going to full annex him, take his money, go on the way. A little bit of antagonism, but not enough to create a coalition. Now, obviously, we have a bunch of fresh land here, but before we go and do that, I am now 71% Walloon, so I'm going to pay the very expensive cost to flip over to being Walloon primary, while still accepting Wasell Franconian, which I can do relatively cheaply because it's German, and we're now Netherlandish, French, and German, which is, you know, big. Even though Walloon isn't that strong of a culture, it is stronger than my Franconian. Anyway, there's no need to convert anything yet. We accept everything in our borders. Although we will change the language of pleading to be the court language, because we love doing serfdom maxing here. And we'll immediately put both of our guys on integrating the provinces, because we have a lot of land to integrate. The other problem we're going to have is everything that we just took in Liege is going to have awful control. Like, our ability to push control out there is very limited. So as soon as our Lord Liege dies, hopefully, he's only 27. I was going to say, hopefully we can move the capital further in. I might just have to move the capital further in anyway. How much will that cost? 8 ducats and 14? Okay, I'm going to do that now then. And I think instead of leaving it in the town of Luxembourg, I'm going to move it on to Bastogne. Unless, is there anywhere else better? No. And this will make it so my capital is on a hills province. And even on a hills province, I believe moving out from it, we get the negative, but because we'll have a hills capital, it'll be a reduced negative, about half as effective. And I believe we avoid the force negative for stepping out of it. So we should do okay to actually reach all of our land and get the most possible. The last thing then, we should integrate our land quite quickly, because this is our proper culture now. Yes. All right, fantastic. Another thing that I desperately should be doing is buttering up the ruler of the HRE to try and get ducal rights, so I can stop being a county and instead a duchy, because the bonuses that you get between that go from being, let me just check here, well, absolutely nothing as a county, to as a duchy you get some more cultural capacity and a lot of, oh, can sign alliances. I thought that I already could sign alliances, considering I'm allowed to have Brabant as an ally, right? Maybe I'm not supposed to be able to ally. Or maybe it's because Brabant is an ally? Can I not ally another county? So if there's a county here, I don't know. That's weird. Don't know what that means. I can do that even as a county. Cool. So that's broken. But otherwise, you know, it's just nice to have. Ooh, we can form Lithuania. That would be like a good medium-term goal. Like Netherlands, Lithuania, Germany. Interesting. I've been offered to join a coalition against England because obviously, as you can see, they just took a fair amount of land right in northern France. This would be a good chance for me to like seize Namur, I think, because Namur is a vassal of Flanders, who's a vassal of England. Although I don't think they joined the war, but I could get them transferred or something. I don't see why I wouldn't take this and then just immediately try and deck on England. I mean, this much of Germany against England should win. They only have 30,000 troops, and Brabant alone has 10,000. I have like 3,000. Oh, 2,000. We should be able to figure that out. In worst case, it doesn't work and my enemies get weaker and I give away some Brabantian land. Kind of a risk. Big payoff if it works. Get English war reps. Not like they can afford to take more land. Alright, hear me out on this one. Because prestige is a very weird resource to get in EU5. I don't think there's a consistent way to generate it besides some court buildings, which actually I can't even build because I forgot I moved my capital to a field. But I wish that there was an estate interaction with the nobility where you could click it and they'll give you like 10 or 15 prestige. Just because I'm sitting right on the line to ask for ducal rights, and Bohemia would give it to me. I'm just being prestige barred. because I do not have it. And it'd be cool if I could exploit like 20-25% estate legitimacy or estate satisfaction from the nobles for them to like talk up the crown or something like that, you know? Like go on like a tour or something, I don't know. Host a noble tourney. Something that would, in the prestigious circles that matter, make me seem cool. Alrighty, in the coalition against England, there's 42 members. England has 30,000 levy, plus all of his vassals, who probably make up another 10,000, assuming each member of the coalition has at least 1,000 levy, which is a pretty safe assumption to make. Some of them have less, some of them have more. Brabant hits much above their weight. I'm willing to gamble that we can beat England. Maybe not if it was a straight front war, but because the AI is really bad at bringing troops over, and we all border them. So I'm going to take the risky play of rallying the coalition against England. It is a show superiority, and I know the English levy are good. But again, as long as we can actually surge and beat him off the land, this is a ballsy move that I'm not sure is going to work out, but hey, here we go. Now, the best case is while we're busy doing this, the 100 Years' War erupts. Although, no, they aren't. They aren't truced out, so France could get involved and deck on England. Although I think they just finished up a war by taking Normandy? Oh. And apparently we've managed to leave the Bohemian Union. Seriously? Yep. Alrighty. Cool. I guess I can get rid of that control group. Didn't mean to do that, but, I guess he picked the event to let me go. Alright, well, we just got decimated by the English forces, which, is a pretty big blow. Sorry, decimated implies only 1 in every 10 died. We got obliterated. So we're just kind of stuck waiting for England to offer a peace. Or I suppose I could offer unconditional surrender, because they're going to come and burn my stuff down anyway, so... Here we go. We'll just capitulate to England, because we lost fair and square. Hopefully they are willing to be gentle. Oh boy, that war went a lot worse than I expected it to. The anti-coalition treaty given, we cannot join a coalition against England. They took 3 provinces off of us, which they already couldn't control, but now they can control even less. Great. That was how much my pop? 12,000, 17,000, about 30,000 pop, a little bit more. We still kept Liege, which is at least something. I guess we're just feeding France in a way. That's unfortunate, though. I was hoping that that would go a little bit better. And of course, we are waiting for our levies to regen. But hey, at least we have max revanchism. No, we don't even have max revanchism. We have almost max revanchism. But still, our troops will be up and running as soon as possible. Oh, they also broke our alliance with Vermont. Cool, so I really need to find a friend, because we are existing... Oh, hello. Well, a friend indeed. Hi, France. I just traded out Bohemia for France like a friggin' Lamborghini for a Ferrari. Hell yeah. Alright, time to take possibly another risk that I don't really need to take. With my 900 men reassembled, I'm going to make a play for down using a Humiliate Rival CB, so I don't even know if I'll technically be allowed to seize land based on how expensive it's going to be. I just want to take at least one location that will make me touch Cologne, so that I can get up to the city of Cologne. That's the gambit, anyway. This could all go very wrong still. Ah, and they've run down to siege Luxembourg. I see. Well, I tell you what if I just yoink 20 AE, huh? For this land? That I really don't care about? 7,000 people there, 6,000 people there. I wonder if instead, if I went up to Diaz proper, if I could siege him out and steal like 25 ducats off of him. That's how desperate I am for cash. This is not going... Obviously, this is not going exactly how I envisioned it. Okay, beautiful. So we've taken Diaz. I will get his war reps. Apparently his maps of the Gulf of Oman, which I'm curious, and a whole 10 ducats. So thank you very much. Where are these wonderful maps of the Gulf of Oman? Yep, you sure did have them for some reason. Okay, not sure why this one location miner in Germany had that, but cool. And from, who are you even? Down? We will just take the 2 locations for, like 16 antagonism. Apparently, Gillet really cares. I don't know who you are or why you care so much, but they're really gonna care. As well as all of his money too. Another 10 ducats for the bank. And we're back on the winning side, apparently. I'll tell you when we keep winning. But that puts us in a very interesting position where we now border Cologne, who I'm going to rival off the bat and should be able to get the threatening rival CB on. And you can probably guess what my prize would be. Alrighty, well, in my string of kind of wars, Cologne managed to ally Bohemia while I was getting the CB prepared, which I think I'm still going to deck, because I will just call France in, and hopefully France is enough of a thing to balance out Bohemia. Bohemia, of course, is going to have 1,000,001 little vassals to swarm. I'm just going to ignore that. Hopefully France isn't too tired from all the wars. Actually, can I check this? I'm sure it'll be fine. So we're going to deck on Cologne with attack threatening rival CB. Make sure Bavaria is called in. Go to war, and then right-click on France with the open all option and use the favors that we've queried to bring France in on this war. That should hopefully level out some of the numbers. The first thing I'm going to do is try and run south and get Lorraine out of this. There's no reason for them to be in this. And then we'll figure out the rest. Okay, fun. Trier also just decided to join this war against me, so I don't know what I did to piss them off, but that's another couple thousand troops. Yeah, only 1,000 troops, but still more to have to deal with. Oh, fuck. And they're jumping me. Not exactly what I wanted, but we're about to have World War Bohemia happen anyway, so... Bavaria, buddy, seriously? That's not what you need to do here. Do not go and run face first into the Bohemians, please. It's really funny that a bunch of random counties keep joining. Like, this one location miner just got pulled in for some reason. I think... I don't actually know why. I think... Do you even have me as a rival? Like, you're already getting sieged out by France. What was the ambition here? I don't know, but I'll take your money, whatever percentage I get of it, and your war reps, and send you on your way. 0.04. It might be 4 pennies, but I'm gonna loot the 4 pennies from the Bavarians that declared on me, the whole 12,000 of them. Hell yeah. See, and there we go. Who just joined again? Meissen. Oh, that's like a real country, too. That's like Saxony. 6,000 troops. We'll be fine. But is it the Holy Roman Emperor that keeps calling him in, or is it because I have France and it's a weird HRE thing? Don't know. Either way, we're taking Cologne. Alright, Bohemia's willing to take a white piece, so we'll give Bohemia a white piece. And that really does pretty well leave me with Cologne and the random countries that keep joining. Trier is willing to take a white piece too. They'll give me their money. And war reps. And will you just piss off, man? I'll come back. Actually, no, I know what I'll do. I want to get rid of your fort, so that when I come back for you, you're nice and easy pickings, and humiliate you. And I could take your one location miner. Sure. For 20 fucking AE? Okay. No, it's 20 AE to a random tribe that I've never met before. Give me your one location miner, I don't care. Welcome to the club. Where are you? Cimarron. Sure, buddy. Are you a different kind of German? Or... Yes, actually. You are a Rhine Franconian. Ooh. Cool. So Cologne has capitulated, and my estimation of the AE was pretty correct. Everybody's hanging at about 49 besides Cologne. They're obviously quite a bit more than that. Of course, we're going to take over the Cologne market from Cologne. Hopefully it just stays in Cologne. In fact, I might leave it there because I don't want the Cologne market to move to Bastion. And I will make sure you annul all treaties with Bohemia. Yes, please. Can I humiliate you as well? Yes. And that brings us up to Clean 100. So we're going to annex all of the Rhine that Cologne has directly on it. Now, I hear you wondering. My country is a really awkward shape, and there's no way that I can push control where I need it to. And you're right, because my control runs out pretty well here. Which is why I'm going to do the very reasonable thing and just move the capital to Cologne. I need to core it. I need to accept the Germans there. But then I will have a market center capital. And once I actually make enough money, I'll build roads back to Luxembourg or Liège, move my capital back to there, and put a local governor in Cologne. Yeah, this is stupid. I'm aware it's stupid. But I need a city to build up because this stuff right here is population-wise in Germany. Look at how not a bright color it is compared to what's happening up here. I guess Liège is doing very good. I could put my capital in Liège, but this entire, like, forest is a shithole. I have a province, apparently, with 500 people. 500! There are provinces in the New World that have more population density than that. That's abysmal. Now, I don't imagine that I'm going to stay making this much money, but holy shit, we just went from basically breaking even to making 8 ducats a month. Why? Is that just from having the trade center? We're not making that much from trade. Don't know, don't care. We're in the money. Oh, also technically Cologne is landlocked. That's not great. Okay, so I do have to get some land up to the North Sea, so I can actually not be a landlocked market. Huge, and after some lucky events, essentially, we can ask Bohemia for ducal rights, which gives us kind of small bonuses, but the most important to me is extra culture capacity, so I can immediately go over and do my best to accept Riparian Franconian. So I don't quite go double over my cultural limit, so it doesn't totally kneecap me. Now, this is important to me. Why? Because for me to make Cologne my capital in the future, Cologne needs to be a core. At which point, then I think I will demote Mosel Franconian and replace it with Walloon, and then I'll see about doing Riparian Franconian with Walloon as well. But this is a... We're surrounded by essentially very large, like, cultures that will be very strong. Francian is going to be very strong. Danube Bavarian is really strong. Czech can get really strong. But, like, we're in this little pocket of a bunch of random cultures that usually one of them emerges, or they all just kind of stay So long as I kill everybody of one culture, it'll be really easy to convert down the line. It's just a matter of it getting down the line. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we've had a bit of a moment if we look at the population chart. Let's see. That was the Black Death. That was the English. That was the one war. That was the second war. Like, it's and we're currently bleeding money because of our wealth compared to our actual control. Because our wealth says that, oh, we are fantastically rich. Our actual tax base has not gotten good. See, there is the other problem. Like, yes, I am allied to France, but I am still on their front door. Well, you know, I'm one country deep. If I ever get my land back from England, I will be directly next to them. And, like, this is normally prime German expansion land for France. So, as much as I do appreciate working with the French, I'm also, very aware that I'm strapping myself to a bomb. I just hope that I can grow faster than that explosion can engulf me. Oh, yay, France, we're doing it again, huh, buddy? You know what? Yeah, I'll come in. But there's a big but on this. I'm going to siege down my land and then try and dip. Okay? So let's go. England, round 3? Is this the 3rd English war, I think? I'm sure that this is going to continue to go very well. We're also going to deck on Julik with the Humiliate Rival CB. I know the numbers don't look fantastic. I have a simple solution to that. I'm going to just right-click over on Upper Bavaria, my good buddy, and bribe him into the war with favors. And hopefully he wins that war for me. I mean, he should just march on over and clean it up, but I don't know if the AI is feeling that bright today. I'm also going to start a third war by fabricating a CB, a Parliament CB, on Prüm. And once this, once I get a diplomat, I'll deck on Prüm, and Prüm, very importantly, is allied to these two one-location miners as well. And this will help me centralize my land, hopefully. Hopefully. And hopefully I don't get a big coalition out of this too. I can deal with a small coalition. I have France as an ally. I have decent allies. I just can't deal with, like, the entirety of Western Germany. Alright, from Julik, we're going to take ducats, but we're not going to get too much of them. War reps, a humiliate on them, and seize a single location just next to Cologne. This isn't going to solve the having too much land problem, but, you know. No, it's just going to make it worse, actually, believe it or not. That's it, that's all. And I'm probably going to make it even worse by decking on Prüm here in a little bit. But this is a fight that I should be able to win entirely on my own. So yeah, we're going to deck on Prüm and make Stavlot Malemdi also a co-belligerent, who apparently I have really good relations with him, so that's going to hurt my stability. That's fine. I'll take the 20 stab hit. I have commoners to deal with that. And away we go. And these are all one-location miners that I should be able to annex really easily. And again, might get a minor coalition from this, but nothing I can't handle, and that's what matters. We're incremental gains. Sounds like a lifting channel. Incremental gains. We'll go back and laugh at the days where we were expanding by one locations instead of entire states. You know, it'll be something where we can look back and smile fondly on before we were the emperor, when life was simple. Thank God we won. If we'd lost that, I was going to start saying things. Now, these one locations obviously aren't going to win us any prizes, but hopefully they just make us a bit stronger. Alrighty, how bad is my antagonism in the Holy Roman Empire? Some people have like 20, Cologne has 50, the average person has about 10. So that gives me about 40 to work with. So for example, Stavelot here. Whoops. I can take their location for 15 and all of their ducats. Thank you. Schleiden as well. I could take their location for about 16 and all their ducats. That puts me to about 30, right? Let me double check that. Yeah, some people are starting to care. I could probably, how much is Prüm going to cost me? Prüm is going to be 20. And how much would Montmendy cost me? Montmendy would cost me another 16. Not worth it. What's in this location? Fur. What's in this location? Medicaments, and in the middle of my land. Cool. I'm just going to take all of Prüm. I might come back for the other one location miner later. And quick, easy war gave us a little bit of antagonism, but we look much more unified on the map. Look at that. Almost a regular nation state. You know, then that leaves us with stuff like Aachen and Limburg, and actually Aachen would be a nice place to set up a capital. Now, I have a theory, and this is a very stupid theory. I think when the game checks to build a local governor, it doesn't check if the roads from your capital to the city you're trying to build it in are actually connected. I think it just checks if it can draw a line on the road map in between the colored-in provinces. So as you can see here, right, I have a road in Bastion, and I'm building it to Saint Vith, and then there's a series of disconnected roads here, and in Bonn, going up to Cologne. I bet, and this is my theory, if I do build a road in Saint Vith, I should be able to build a local governor in Cologne. Now, I can't build a local governor right now because I don't have the tech research. I'm not a kingdom, not allowed to be a kingdom in the Holy Roman Empire. Whole different issue. But actually, do you not get at least one free now? I thought they changed that. Either way, I'm getting better control, so it doesn't matter, right? The road is still worth it. But it can't be that hard to get up to Cologne. Like, seriously. Because my ability to push control up to Cologne is fucking awful. We're using the river in Trier, I believe the River Rhine. So, I didn't think that the Rhine flowed through Luxembourg. This must be a tributary. Because I thought that the Rhine came from deeper in Germany. Oh, well, this is when I get to do the YouTuber bait. If you can name what this one random river in France is called, this one right here that throws through Luxembourg, you should put it in the comments below. You should also like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, that's so forced, but please. Okay, really funny thing. I figured out why my money spiked earlier and why it isn't now. I had a noble civil war. They took the north half of the country. France came in to help. As long as France is in my land, their giant levies are standing on my land and eating all my food, but also they are spiking my local control. Because by having friendly levies in a province, they will take your provinces and give them the friendly armies in province relative to how big their army is. And this Cologne land that normally I can't really push control to, just gets spiked to actually start paying me things, and it outweighs the consequences of the wealth that I have. You can see why my economy is just to the moon. That is why. So I get to have a stupid amount of money while I'm still sieging out this fort in Liège, or until they surrender, at which point I'm going to start spamming out, I think, libraries, because, or if I'm really lucky, I'll be able to save up enough that I could build up the iron. Okay, no, not gonna happen. But yeah, so the French are the reason why I was able to get control. Cool. That's interesting. For the record, oh no, I can build a local governor in Cologne. Okay, yes, I do get one. Cool. And notice there is not a single connected road to Cologne, and I can build a local governor in that location. So I don't know when this is relevant to you. It was relevant to me because obviously I inherited a bunch of incomplete roads or non-connected roads and laid down a road in St. Fifth. But yeah, you can just put a local governor down so long as the road tiles touch. Which is certainly a strategy. This is so important to me that I might actually take out loans to do it. Yeah, this is probably a bad idea in the long run, but who's playing for the long run? We're playing EU5. Lay down a local governor, and hopefully that gets me control in this region where I desperately need it so I can start breaking even. Alright, sweet, and we're doing a thing where the HRE decides to make it just one big Holy Roman figurehead, apparently. Why do you do this? It doesn't do anything for you in a good way. Like, this just isn't a great thing for you. At least I don't understand, because this always happens. Also, Imperial Circles were founded, and apparently, oh my god, what is this circle? What the hell? We are a member of what circle? This is not what it looked like 5 seconds ago. There's the Savoy and Dauphine circle, and apparently it stretches all the way from Genoa to Frisia, and includes like Verona and stuff. Now, because I have a road running in Bastion, sorry, the king just died, and we need to move court. Now, because I have itinerant court, or I could keep Bastion as the capital, but honestly, it's not doing much for me now, besides giving me a little bit of control in Liège, which I could care less. I could move the capital back to Luxembourg, which is probably the best choice because it still has a road connection with Cologne, so we're okay that way. And it gives me better connection to the iron RGO sitting under the ground, and it's actually a town, so I can get in some of the important crown buildings. Or I could go to Liège and blow up the local governor I just put in Cologne, which seems like a bad idea. So yeah, we're going to go with Luxembourg. We're back, baby, back in Luxembourg with, again, a decent ability to push control. I imagine Bastion will burn off a little bit, and Liege will get a little bit worse, but otherwise, we'll do okay. Other thing, and I'm not sure if I've made this clear in what I'm doing, but you totally can use the Humiliate Rival CB against somebody to take land, as long as they have about 2 locations. If they have any more than 2 locations, you can't full annex them, but the OPMs here, I've justified with a Humiliate Rival. So I've been using my rivalries to annex tiny countries, and that's why you've been seeing me grow. I've not been waiting for Parliament CBs. In fact, Humiliate Rival CBs are kind of better because you don't get any max antagonism. If I remember correctly, the Parliament CB gives you plus 25% antagonism, which you really can't afford when you're playing in the HRE and it's this dense. Either way, with my new governor in Cologne, I'm going to probably start trying to push out around, is that Berg? Yes. And also up the Rhine towards kind of Gelders, Utrecht, anywhere that isn't continuing to be directly in the area that I've been struggling to push control around. Alrighty, now we get to go for the throat against Aachen, who is an Imperial Free City, so that means Bohemia gets called in again. Upper Bavaria is willing to join off the bat. Then we deck with the Humiliate Rival CB. It's going to cost 10 stability for whatever reason. And then I go over to France, open all diplomatic actions, and use our accumulated favors to call France on in, so that evens out the war. Bavaria has unified, so hopefully they're strong enough to not immediately get run over by the Bohemians. It's not going to be great. Either way, Aachen is just here, so I'm able to call up my own 5,000 troops and put some pressure on there. Trier, again, we're just going to... Okay, well, firstly, we're going to annul their treaties with Bohemia, make them pay war reps, and take their money. And now that the worst of the pressure is immediately off me, I'm ignoring the mess that is Bohemia over there. We are going to go and start burning down Aachen and start taking the land, some land for ourselves. Okay, I can buy Bohemia out of this war for 80 ducats, so it's expensive. It's going to involve a couple loans, but I just need Bohemia not breathing down my neck. It does mean that I'm floating now 250 ducats in debt, paying a ducat a month in interest. Wonderful, I just realized that we are going to explode into a burger revolt once I piece out of this war, so it's good that I have France nearby, because they're going to take care of it for me. And from the free city of Valkenburg, we are going to take their land and their money and send them on their way. And from the free city of Aachen, we are going to do the same, except apparently take slightly less of their money. But we look so much better. We're actually starting to come together as a nation. See, I think one of my bigger issues is Cologne is a entirely inland market. I thought we were coastal, but we've managed to be cut off by Bruges in literally one location deep of the Netherlands. So none of my trading can get... I can't get good trade range because I'm strangled by all the ones around me, right? So I can't make any money. And I'm taxing to pretty well my fullest extent. I guess I could tax the little people more, but oh boy, I would go from making nothing to less than nothing and piss them off. So I'm taxing them to the fullest. I'm taxing my burghers literally as much as I can. I'm taxing my nobles literally as much as I can. There's very little I can turn off. Oh boy, a whole tenth of a ducat. That's not going to save me. And the expenses, one is the local governor. I understand that, but then I don't actually know where else I'm supposed to win it back, and I have all of this that still needs to get integrated. Once it's integrated, it's cored, and we can get decent control. It's just getting the value out of that takes time, and we're starkly running out of it. Luckily, I have a lot of debt that I can take on, so it would be a slow death. But I think I need to conquer it to keep the economy going, and if I stop at like this moment, I kind of sputter out and die. So against probably better judgment, I'm actually going to spike the Diplo spending, try and get it up to 2. Brabant still owes me favors, and I'll use Brabant as I cut into the Northern HRE. Maybe go through Moors and try and get beat up all of their allies, and everybody who I beat up will give me 10 ducats, and 10 ducats is at least another month. And I need time to integrate and get control, I think. I think that will help bail me out. Alright, I'm going to deck on Moors and try and beat them myself, I think, just because I have... Like, we're roughly equally matched. Technically, I think they are bigger than me, but I have one united army. They're all going to spawn just as a mess of nations, and I can pick them apart as needs be. It shouldn't take long, so long as the rest of the HRE doesn't join against me. And if that's a problem, I will then call people in. But I cannot wait around for it. I need to keep going. If I stop going, then it all blows up. Work gives me 10 ducats and war reps, and hopefully that holds my economy up for a bit. It does that too with war reps and 10 ducats. Thank you very much. Heisenberg, I need to start creating a humiliate rival CB on you. Essen, I will also take all of your money and your war reps. Moors, once it is time, fantastic. I will take your money, your war reps. Oh, sorry. Not your war reps. Don't want war reps. I need your land and your money. Yeah, I'll rival Cleves and see if that works. I don't think this is going to save me, but something I am going to do that I should have done a while ago, I'm going to build a road to Liège, so I can at least get some amount of control over there. Very expensive. Already drowning in debt. And what are they going to do when I go bankrupt? Rip up the roads? So, hopefully, you know what, fuck it. I'm already going in debt. Anyway, possible government reforms. Maybe there's something in there that can save me, because the current situation is not working for my third gov reform. Royal decree. We need more crown power. We are desperately short of that. Hopefully that finds us some comfort. You know, I'm starting to think that it's not that all of the starts I choose are hard, but perhaps how I approach the game is too fast for how the game wants to be played at the start, and then it kind of catches up, because I shouldn't be this unstable. This is 100% homegrown, my own damn fault. Anyway, we just got our free cabinet seat that hopefully we can use to keep integrating more land. So much more land to integrate. Okay, I have a terrible idea. In October, my truce with England is going to come up, and there is no way that I can justify a CB in that time. However, I will no CB onto them with the sole hope that France will join. If France will join and we're able to win, which is not a guarantee, because France has come together a lot more than it was at the very start of the game, but either way, I need to run down England, and this is going to be with a superiority CB brought to you by the AI, so you know it's going to go well. If we can hold together what's happening against the English here, I can get war reps. And if I can get war reps, I can get like a tenth of the English economy, which would supercharge whatever the fuck I'm running over here, and hopefully let me pull myself out of debt. Because I am sitting 1,300 ducats in debt. It would be better for me to go bankrupt. Wholeheartedly, I should go bankrupt. I would be in the green if it wasn't for being bankrupt, because I'm putting a lot into Diplo spending right now. I'm doing what I did in Aquitaine all over again. Go watch the Aquitaine video. And for saving the run, or saving going bankrupt, we're going to go in against England. Let's go. For Namur, the land that we're owed. Thank you, France. Thank you, Brabant. Get to it. Now, hopefully, and there's a lot of hopefully on this, I don't just get run over by the English, and instead the French get their shit together instead of just going and sitting down on Aquitaine. Realistically, I expect to get screwed because it's the AI, but I'm in control of this war, so shouldn't be that hard. I just need to return this land to myself and make sure I get war reps. That's not that big of a peace deal. If I'm lucky, I get Namur too. Don't really need more land, though. Alrighty. Well, I am still bleeding money. I need to leave this war. It went on. It came on without a hitch. Actually, could I get Namur? if I take a little bit less ducat. Not like I'm going to be seeing any of it anyway. Cool. So we will take back the land that we lost to England like 20 years ago, as well as Namur. Get war reps from England and 50 ducats, most of which are going to go immediately to France because they have most of the war score. I'm going to get like 4% of 50, which is whole 3 ducats. Let's go. Moving up in the world. Also means, though, that our economy is now entirely propped up by England, and I am no longer... Well, I'm not profitable. If I tax the little people, am I profitable? Still not. What could I get rid of to make money? Can't drop the local governor. I need it for control. Can't break all the marketplaces. They're making more in trade, or they're balancing out enough. They create more burgers too, so it's worth having. The consumption is worth it. I stopped paying my legitimacy, and now I'm really close. I don't buy food. I'd rather not. Well, I can rip up the castle at Namur. And we're still short. We're still short. Shit. I didn't diplomatically annex a subject game. What the hell are you talking? I guess I, like, annexed Namur, which was an English subject. That's an interesting take. Holy shit, are we even? Are we positive? After, like, selling out the nation? Okay, so long as I keep doing what I'm doing exactly here, I can make some ground back on paying off my loans. It just is going to push the nation to a civil war in a little bit, but it's not bankruptcy. It's not bankruptcy. All right, all the loans that I took out definitely weren't ideal, but I do actually have control over my country now, and I'm making active ground on them so long as I have the British war reps, because that's what's holding up this entire economy. Don't doubt for a second. And I'm not spending money on anything besides them right now, and I ripped down all the forts we had. But as long as you ignore all that, oh, and I just taxed the little people until we won't have an army anymore. But if you ignore all of that, we're actually stable. The tax base is growing, the wealth is decent, and the control isn't even half bad once we get there. Like, Namur is only going to get better controlled as time goes on. So, I think, despite my best efforts, the hard times are done. Just gotta keep paying off loans, and we'll make more from trading, because I'll get some crown power back, and it'll all work to my advantage. And by the end of this, I should come out making, like, 9 ducats a month, minus about 3, because I have to make back my legitimacy. I don't know, I'll come out making, like, pretty much as I have now, except with less debt, hopefully. And the burgers are coming through for me in a huge way. We are going to antagonize them to a great deal, taking a massive chunk of money from them. But immediately feed that back into the loans, put a little bit into the crown, just enough that we don't have a civil war. The clergy, I'm actually going to push their buttons. Nope, can't push their buttons any harder. There's very little buttons I can push much harder than I'm already doing. I'm squeezing the nation for all it's worth, trying to recover from the tailspin. And you can see the economy is, of course, or the tax base is recovering decently. And we're already down like 400 ducats in debt. Would you believe it possible? Once we finish some of these integrations, I actually need to send one of my guys to kind of soothe all the ruffled feathers over. You know, on account of us being aggressive with our estates. Alright, we're gonna throw down a humiliate rival CB on Berg. They're allied to a handful of actual powers, and Brabant is willing to come in and do my dirty work. I just need to simply raise my levies and make sure I don't get my shit burned down while we pilfer their lands. Because I really think Gelre can pay out decently. See, that's what I was worried about. I really can't have you raising mercenaries. All right, beautiful. From Gelders, we're going to take war reps and all their money. I'll come back and deal with them later. The only thing, I'll annul their treaties with the Hansa, because that's a whole different thing I don't want to deal with. And make sure I get war reps. Hopefully I get most of that money. Roughly half. Roughly half. And that just immediately goes back into the loans. The reason that this looks like it's doing so good is because I'm taxing the absolute givens out of my estates. Yeah, from the Burger PU, we're gonna steal Wild, Vide, something like that. German and English don't play nice all the time. I'm gonna steal their PU member, his land and their money. Alright, after marching all the way over to Walloon, I will take all of their money and some more reps again. You know, I gotta say, the the total war strategy is starting to pay. We're making ground. Now, hopefully, Dusseldorf will capitulate instead of making me siege out this really long, annoying siege. Alright, from Berg itself, I'm just going to steal the town of Dusseldorf and most of their money. And can I steal a single province? Do I care about stealing a single province of what even is here? Calais? And 14,000 pops? No, you can keep it, man. Just give me your town. Piss off. 50 ducats? Good deal. Goodbye. And France just drew me into a big war against essentially a straight line of... What do you even call this region? Is this the Rhone? Franche-Comté, Dauphiné, Lombardy, Lorraine. Yeah, I guess like what I would like the Arles, Greater Burgundy. Oh, there's a special word for this set of the Alps. Like I know it's partially touching the Swiss Alps, but no, this region has a word because it's so hilly. I just can't remember. And all of a sudden, though I absolutely know this isn't going to last, I couldn't tell you why we're making 20 ducats a month. So, well, we are making that much. Oh boy, it's all going into paying off the loans. We're about halfway done with the loans now. Alrighty, well, the worst of it is definitely over, I believe. Obviously, still somewhat dependent on the English war reps, but we're making enough month over month that I think we're going to be okay. Definitely was a little touch and go there. Definitely going to have a couple of my big tax bonuses here wear off. That'll put it back in the limiter, but we went from having like 5 to 10% crown power to being over 25, which is a good sign. Couple civil wars, but you know, what's a German kingdom without a civil war or two? Alrighty, and now that things have slowed down a little bit, we are going to deck on Cleves. Yes, I'm aware we have no levy. I'm going to call in Upper Bavaria. I'm also appeasing the little people, so hopefully they'll chill out. But I'm going to call in Bavaria, and if things go wrong, I might also call in France, you know, just as a nuclear option. So we're going to deck this war. Come on over to Bavaria. Open all diplomatic things, influence, use favors. Welcome to the war. Sick 'em, lads. Now I can start asking some bigger questions besides just integrating land. For example, I'm Walloon primary culture, but not most of my country is not. So I want to see, even with Cologne being, or the, what are you? The Ripuarian Franconian being a fully accepted culture, we can still flip them, albeit very slowly. Because they have a positive opinion of my culture. Obviously, if they're accepted, so it's a massive negative. And we're still quite spiritualist. And, oh, the German market language, I forgot about that. But, and that means that the burgers essentially will not change slowed assimilation because it is a German market language. This is something I'm going to be fighting the entire time because Walloon culture is a French-speaking culture, despite being in the Netherlandish, French, and German culture groups. So that's just a flat 10% that I'm going to be having to fight against the entire time. Otherwise, I'm going to start to convert this over so I can unaccept Ripuarian. I might actually just fully unaccept it outright and make it kind of hated to try and convert it really quickly. I haven't fully decided yet, and that's going to be really stability intensive when that's still an expensive resource for me. Okay, sweet. So against Heisenberg, I actually have the antagonism budget that I can take the province outright along with their money. which I'll do. I won't see under their money. I've not done any fighting, but screw it. It goes to my ally, so it's going to a good cause. And against Cleves, I will also take all of their money. This one is still kind of straddling the line. Like, we're right at the point, but the pace that I'm going at is perfectly fine. So we'll also just take Cleves over as well as their money, and we work our way further down the Rhine. Oh, doing kind of a weird movement, but with our local governor in Cologne, we can really go down the Rhine as much as we want. So we should be fine. The only downside is actually we're going to Low Franconian land, or Dutch, as I would call it. And the Dutch are going to be obviously quite a large culture block that I cannot integrate as a Walloon. So I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that. I might just have to accept them after I deal with the Mossel Franconian and the Ligurian Franconian. Just accept the Dutch. Oh, actually, wait a second. And I think that this is me repaying my last loan as well. Yes. Fantastic. So we have managed to fight back all of our money. Everybody's relatively content with me. I'm actually going to try and stop taxing the little people now. We're doing okay. We've definitely stabilized. I think we're on the upswing. Okay, good. And France is calling me into another England war. I believe that this is just the 100 Years' War Phase 3. Yeah. This should be a easy sweep for France at this point. I think they've done, as long as there's no shenanigans. There's always room for shenanigans in the 100 Years' War, but as long as it doesn't blow up in anyone's face, it should be good. I shouldn't have to worry about it, that's for certain. That's hilarious. My one location miner of Cimarron that I took off of somebody earlier somewhere around here is going to take till 1412 to annex. That is a proper 20-year annexation time. 17 for 10,000 German peasants in a field. I'm gonna do it, but I'm not happy about it. That's a little silly. I understand the vassal meta was strong, but there's gotta be a better way to do it than this. Alrighty, and now I'm going to do something possibly quite stupid. I'm going to rip out Mossel Franconian from being a totally accepted culture, which currently is where my capital is. We're just gonna throw that down to only being a tolerated, and then all the way down to being a what do you call the bottom level again? Discriminated culture. And then on top of that, I'm going to worsen our cultural opinion twice so that we can be incredibly effective at converting it and basically try and force all of Luxembourg very quickly to become Walloon. Now, I know for a fact that this is probably going to cause a revolt, but if I act fast enough, and because I have such good control here, it might work. I also have to, of course, do this slightly further up and in any land I take from Trier, but you're looking down the line. We're supposed to be looking at the moment. That's all that matters, right? This also hopefully will give me room just to get around to tolerating Dutch. I don't think I could bring myself to do anything more than that. They are Dutch after all, but or Low Franconian. And we actually should find a lot of common ground because we share so much culturally, right? We share 2 out of the 3 culture groups. The only difference is they speak German, whereas we speak French. And it's such a big culture group, I'm not sure I want to go through the effort to actually wipe it on over. But you can see in our capital, we very quickly are converting people on over. We're doing over 100 a day for provinces with 5,000 pops. Believe it or not, because my peasants have been so unsatisfied and there's been so poor prosperity, my country is devastatingly kind of skimpy on pops. Like, all of my population basically is centered on the Rhine or in Liege. And the actual Luxembourgish land, not worth a whole lot. So that's something we're going to have to address. There's provinces here with less than 5,000 pops. Jesus. Yeah, no, definitely not my smoothest pop management, but we'll fix that with some settlements later. Alrighty, well, time to go kick the hornet's nest once again, so we're going to deck on Trier for Humiliate Rival CB. Now, the problem is, of course, Trier is allied to Bohemia. We have France, so paper beats rock. Just have to call France with favors into the war. We still have plenty. And because I think, oh, you know what, Bavaria, you're going to get run over if I do, so I'll let you be, man. You just go and be what you want to be. Call up our own levies and fight the good fight. Trier doesn't actually have any forts, so I could kind of blitz them down. I just don't know exactly what I want to take off of them. I want to do as much as I can to weaken the Mossel Franconian culture, though. Alright, Raban's pulling to leave. We're going to do everything I can to them besides taking land. So war reps, make them drop their 2-1 location minor subjects, get rid of their forts, humiliate them, and take all of their money. Although I don't expect to get too much of that. No, most of that goes back to France. The only other thing I'm kind of holding onto here is I want to try and get Metz and take the city for myself if possible, although I imagine it would flip to the French, because that's another city just downriver from my capital, with 70,000 people. Now, it is Laurentish, and technically in what I would consider, well, it is in the French region. Yeah, it's right on what I would call Alsace-Lorraine, or Alsace-Lorraine, but you know, it's a city, and this is medieval Europe or early modern Europe, so I don't have to care about making pretty borders and stuff. Beautiful. So we will seize the city of Metz from Metz. It costs exactly 99 war score. It's like it was meant to happen. Yoink. And that means that I have a province that I can get really good control to. 70,000 people. Wrong culture, but we can fix that. The Laurentish culture isn't that strong, is it? It's a little bit stronger than Walloon, but not by much. And with that, finally, I can let Trier go. This is going to give me a coalition now. No, really. Well, I'm not complaining. We're going to just try and tidy up the borders a little bit. I'm not able to hook up with my little vassal, but that's okay. And more importantly, it destroys one of the last major members of the Mossel Franconian culture. Or, well, the Mossel Franconian culture doesn't have a town anymore, so the only thing it has is its pop count, because it can't have libraries buffing it. So I'm in a much better position to make everything beautiful, beautiful Walloon. Alrighty, I think I'm going to go in on Berg. I'm going to do this slightly brave thing. Well, it's not brave. I'm going to deck on them alone, and if things go wrong, then I'll call for France. I just want to clean up the other side of the River of Cologne, because I can obviously get high control in this region, and it's basically destroying what's left of the Riparian Franconian tags, so I can culturally convert it easier in the future. Same thing for what I did to Mossel Franconian, right? You can see that it's currently plummeting in strength, while Wallonian is rising. That's the gimmick, right? Alright, from their ally Gelders, I'm just going to take all their money, war reps, and whatnot. Actually, wait a second. Am I about to walk face first into a big fight? Alright, never mind. From Berg, we're just going to take all of their land and their money. This does give us, again, some antagonism. I'm playing within my limits. I know them. So we're gonna just piece out of that, keep our peasant levy without walking it face first into a 3k merc stack, and actually become like kind of we're like half of a Belgium and the important part of the Rhine. We're doing pretty good. Okay, normally I don't talk about like what's going on too far outside of the world. But what the hell is happening in Iberia? Why did Portugal release... Oh, wait, this is a Repellion. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So that means that Castile annexed about that much of Portugal, which is just gross. And then Granada and Bejon, Dejon, Catalonia are rebelling. Oh, well... Alrighty. That answers that. There's going to be a monster Spain coming out. Hopefully that counterbalances the France I'm supercharging. And I can eventually... In fact, I should start currying favor with Castile, because I want to use them to beat back France eventually. Because, well, I've kneecapped Bohemia multiple times, and there's nobody else in Europe who can actually stand against France realistically besides Spain. If Hungary got its stuff together, maybe. But France's economy is already 500 and growing rapidly. And not that it's the most exciting thing in the world, but we are going to drop the first university of the game right on down in Luxembourg proper. showing that the Walloonian culture is about to get supercharged. And we're actually growing. We've like kind of doubled in size culturally. You can see though we are a very multicultural kingdom. This isn't just one culture, this is two of the exact same color. But yeah, we're working on fixing that, don't worry. Alrighty, and we're immediately gonna go in with a Parliament CB now on Julik, and also try and clean up Cyan. Cyan? Cyan? Either way, we're gonna basically try and give ourselves prettier borders without getting in too much trouble. From San, we will take all of his land, or all of their land and their ducats. Again, we're getting up to the 40s, but we're not going to stop there. People care because I'm starting to... Oh no, I thought I would have been taking land in a different culture group that was closer or a bigger culture group, but no, alrighty. So they won't care when I do this, right? If I do this, nobody cares? Ooh, 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 we're starting to see a coalition form. It would have Trier, Julik, who's going to stop existing, Nassau, who I don't care about, and Mainz, who could do something, and Horn, and the rest of them would get left out. So we would actually have to sit and breathe for a minute, which I'd be fine with doing. Just before I do this, I need this parliament to run out, then I'll declare the emergency parliament. I want to check for a couple more debates, namely promote urbanization would be a nice one. Alright, never mind, I was intending to sit around, but it turns out the Free City of Waldeck, who, holy shit, you have 100 base tax just in that single tile? That's impressive. Oh, you're sitting on gold. Okay, that explains a lot. But they showed up with a bunch of mercenaries and kicked my levy's ass while we were just sitting on 6 speed, so we're gonna leave now, even though it means I won't get my emergency parliament. I'd rather just get my money and run. And this means I can let my levies go and start to recharge just a bit sooner. Then again, the coalition looks... Oh, wrong map mode. Coalition looks something like this, where technically it's an issue, but we're going to just improve relations with people and smooth it over really quick. You know, I just noticed something. I don't know exactly when it happened. I went from being, like, number 1,000th power in the world to being 27. So I don't know, like, where the jumping point is, but, like I imagine it happened somewhere in the last this section of the tree. But even if I look at something like, what are you called? Waldeck, who's very, very profitable, they're still 1,066th. So, and they have an economy 30 ducats smaller than me. I don't know what all gives the points. I think it's conquering, it's controlling areas. That makes sense. So I got enough to be told I'm in control of the Rhineland for great power points. That would do it. Oh wow, I forgot that Trier had so many friends. This is one of those times I'm going to burn a France colon, I think, just for the sake of cleaning it up. So we'll save up an extra diplomat. And we go to declare for our parliament-approved claims. This, of course, is going to kick the hornet's nest, but we're really only interested in cleaning up the two-province minor of Trier. We go over to France. Good buddy. Use favors to call for war. And we're off to the races. This is, yeah, there's Upper Bavaria, Brabant, Gelders, Trier. It should be an easy enough cleanup. It's just a bit bigger than I was expecting. They have a one location minor here, so I just want to make sure I take that as an opportunity to pick it up. Obviously, yeah, we're going to start to get a minor coalition that's probably going to be a bit more persistent than earlier. But we're kind of at the point where we can stop worrying so much about it. You know, not that I need to take on the entirety of Western Germany, but I can... When you have the Emperor in France, you can get away with things. And from Brabant, we'll just take their money and war reps. We don't get much of it, but we do get the war reps. Similar thing's going to happen in Gelders, where we're going to take the money and the war reps. And honestly, man, you can just... Actually, no. Gelders, you get a humiliate too. Thank you very much. Again, we don't get much of it, but we get a little bit. And then from Trier proper, we just take all of their money and send them on the way. I cannot be bothered to go fight Upper Bavaria. And we ice off Trier. More interestingly, we did just kill an elector, which means it needs to be given out. I don't think we can request it from Bohemia, because we would need to be a theocracy. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But presumably there is a theocracy that's going to get us into an electorship. Now, the antagonism for all that is a little bit, you can see there's a healthy band of Germans who are not too pleased with me. Dare you say they're angry about it. That's great. I didn't know that was a German culture group. But yeah, so there's a couple people upset about that. But besides that, it's fine. Also, the Rippian Franconian and the Mosel Franconian are both entirely dead cultures. There's no practicing country on them, so I should be able to convert them over very easily, at least much easier than before. So yeah, everything's coming up Luxembourg. You know, I think that the city of Karbach would be a really fun free city to play, because just looking at it, they have a gold RGO with 12 gold. They're currently making 60 ducats a month paused on the location balance. So, well, they're gold barons, right? Like, that's entirely what there is. The development that they have there, let me just check the development map mode. Okay, it isn't insane. It did seem, what the hell? Frankfurt has almost 50? How did you do that? Huh. Well, but where was I? No, they're just very profitable little dudes. They've basically almost maxed out the city with 30,000 pops. They're more limited by having pops than anything else. Like, that's got to be a fun little game to play tall. Just sitting there printing gold, laughing in your gilded towers. But just a quick culture update, as you know we've been doing. Looking at the Riparian Franconian, you can see obviously no cultural influence. So when I go to convert them over to being Walloon, because I want to unaccept them to free up more culture capacity, we can go stupid fast, even though I'm carrying a massive negative 95% penalty. I counter that with a 70%, 80%, 100%. I have a plus 25% bonus, and my limiter's control, but hey, that's just EU5. So I should be able to get rid of most of this relatively quickly and just flip it on over to Walloon and then unaccept it for a much lower cost and stab than 60. You know, if I really want to double down and possibly do something stupid, like if I'm not careful, I could destroy my cultural influence. I could also blow up my opinion of Riparian Franconian to make the conversion go faster. Now, I don't want to do this for a couple reasons. If I had all of my cabinet members able to focus on converting it over, I would. Obviously, I have more land I need to integrate. But it's such a interesting idea to tactically start. How do I say this in a way that doesn't sound awful? Like the government tactically choosing when to go from being a beloved friend of a culture to just start putting up like 1984 style propaganda saying, never mind, we hate them now, we hate them now. It's. I understand why it exists for gameplay purposes. It's just very odd that if I really wanted to, all it costs is 40 prestige to make me love Muscle Franconian again. And everybody just gets on with it. I imagine it's like how they're interacting with the government apparatuses and not how different our people are on the ground. Because I imagine the difference between a Walloon and a Muscle Franconian isn't that much. I'm not saying in the modern day. I mean, like, you know, you're they're all living quite similar lives close to a village or to their town, doing sustenance farming, right? So it's just odd. And you know what? It's time to do it again. We're going to go do a quick little deck up on Zuthgren. That's also going to bring us in to conflict with the Gelders in Holland, but Just a matter of burning down the little guy. The only way this could get kind of sketchy is if they hire way too many mercs. But that's why you just gotta put the big ones out of action quickly and full siege them down, like Gelre. Ah, see, and what I did here is a classic blunder of running on 7 speed and not looking where I'm going, and this is going to probably destroy my army? No? What? I beat the... I thought that they had a merc stack there. Well then, I mean, get out skilled, Amsterdam. Clearly, you did not think in 5D chess. Teehee. Cool, from Gelders, we're going to take all their money, war reps, break a bunch of alliances. From Zutphen, we will take the 2 locations and all their money. Again, antagonizes people a little bit, but no sweat off my back. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we had really ambitioned into here. Well, we really do have to get to the coast, because the fact that we're not a coastal market... Oh, we're now considered a coastal market. Hopefully this counts and lets me actually break out. I gotta get a coastal location. For the first time in a long time, I don't actually have any more land to integrate, where you just have one cabinet member integrating the new Zutphen land, which means I can worry more about flipping things culturally and can finally fix up this map like I've been talking about for at least 50 years. So we're just going to turn Eiffel into a beautiful shade of baby puke green that Walloon looks like. And there's nothing that these German cultures can do because, well, frankly, they don't have any cultural strength to do it. And once that's finished, Bohemia, you've asked me to do something I simply cannot do. Oh, and France is going after Brabant. Shit. Bohemia, this war is, like, so against you. I don't know how you expect to hold them. And if I joined, I'm just gonna get rolled over by France before I can. I need so much more before I can help you. I'm sorry, Bohemia. I guess I should have known that was gonna happen one way or another. But, no, screw that. That's suicide if I jump in on that. In other news, though, I'm gonna wait till the French run in and blow up the Brabantine forces, and then I'm gonna try and swoop in and steal some land, because I have a Parliament CB on Brabant. In fact, we're gonna go in right now. And this technically is a sketchy war, but France is also at war with them, so why should I care? Alright, this is gonna make me do something stupid, but I cannot let France get all of Brabant. So, I'm essentially going to draw a straight line through the land, I believe, or as straight as I can manage with the circumstances, which involves taking Brussels and Antwerp and just segmenting it really ugly, not taking Limburg like I wanted to, but hopefully this physically denies France the ability to get in here to take it all. Now, this might result in them just vassalizing them, but, you know, I'm hoping the AI isn't thinking that far ahead. I will also have them release those subjects, and I would love to take Limburg. Seriously, but it would just make the coalition so much bigger if I did. I'll have to come back and just hope. So we'll seal a lot from Brabant. The antagonism looks something like this, which again is a lot. I'm kind of putting myself on the line to try and save the HRE from France here. I'm relying on the French liking and trusting me, which they're opportunistic AI, so I know it both hates me and wants me dead. But hey, you know, the only other really important thing that I have to do, and this is going to kind of tank my cultural control, I'm going to accept Low Franconian outright. Just because the Dutch and I will get on pretty decently. Yeah, I'm over my accepted culture limit, but so what? Actually, and I didn't realize this, but hey, now we're a coastal nation, or at least we are no longer entirely landlocked, which that's pretty cool. We're kind of split between two markets still, but you know, we touched the coast. In the background, while all this is going on too, I've started making a play for the emperorship. Bohemia won it recently, but the current emperor is 45 and his wife is 45, which implies they're not having any more kids and they only have a daughter, which kind of disqualifies them. And I've already swung 2 votes, so if I could pick up 2 more, and I'm really hoping for Saxe-Württemberg and Brandenburg, I could almost certainly get a hold of. Now, the problem with this is once I'm the emperor, if France goes to war with the empire, that makes life difficult, very difficult. Because what do I do, right? Like, I can't fight France, just in a sense of sheer survivability. So we're still figuring that part out, but everything else there should work. I'm also going to start kissing butt with Castile again to try and get them on board as a counterbalance to France. Also, if you want to talk about a place in the world where building bridges gets you value, look at what Cologne is doing for me. And again, I know that bridges are not the be all and end all of a thing, but Cologne, which is just my 80 proximity local governor, is in the middle of a bunch of towns, all sitting on the Rhine, and I'm getting control all the way up to 50 down here and 30 down here, and it's some of the most population-dense land that I own, although we're fixing what was happening in the core. So it's great. Now, mind you, I also have to figure out how I'm going to balance that with the new Brussels lands I acquired. Maybe I put a city down in Antwerp and try and use that with a local governor, but, well, I do get access to another local governor, I believe, in the Age of Exploration, under New World or Printing Press, so it's possible. Beautiful. So if there was a vote to happen right now, I would be elected emperor. So we just have to hope that Bohemia falls over dead. He's 47, so that's not crazy for it to happen. Probably in the next 20 years. And then we will be the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire as long as we can keep this rough stranglehold. And I'm shoring it up with a couple extra votes from Saxe-Württemberg and maybe the Palatinate, if I can help it, and then we can start to unravel the clusterfuck of laws that they have going on in here, and also figure out how, in the Lord's good name, we're going to hold off the French. Wow, and just like that, we reach the age of discovery. I was kind of hoping to accomplish a little bit more, but and I would push on. I'm just out of time. So let's just figure out here. What am I going to do here? I'm not doing colonial. Am I going to do admin? This feels kind of admin-y. Faster colonies. Nothing here sings to me. Iron output from efficient mining can stack nicely, I guess. I will go with administrative focus for the age of discovery just because nothing else is singing to me. And let's talk about how we did. I was hoping that we would make it to forming the Netherlands. It's just France fighting Brabant kind of broke my ability to focus on that. I had to jump into action, spend a bunch of AE or antagonism that I didn't really have to spend, but we're right on the edge of being able to pick up what we need. So another 10, 20 years, and we will be considered not just Luxembourg, but the Netherlands. We're also well on our way to forming Lotharingia, which I would also like to do as a mid-step goal. However, we are still far off of being any major German power. Now, from where we came from, as a tiny nation with only 90,000 people, God, we're doing so much better. We're at 1.1 million. We started with, I believe, a whole 6. Yes, a whole 6 tax base. We now read at 241, or 230, sorry. Our market value is 2,300 ducats, which sits up there with the big boys of London and Paris. Not quite to Genoa's standards, but definitely to Venice's. We are a proper economy rolling, though mainly we are powered by iron, just from the sheer value of our goods. Control-wise, we are rich. Obviously, our new conquests are a little bit harder to push into, but everything else thanks in part to the beauty of the Rhine and otherwise the roads and whatever other rivers these are. I still don't know what they're called. The one that flows right by Luxembourg and through Metz, and the other one that throws through Liege and Namur. I know for a fact that this is the Rhine. I recognize its shape. I just don't know what the other two are called. Otherwise, I'm trying to think. Obviously, the Walloonian culture is doing better than it could dream. It's still not where I was hoping it to be. We're a little behind where I was hoping it to be. But it's getting there. Things are getting cored. Integrated wise, most of us our stuff is integrated. I was kind of hoping to culturally flip on the Riparian Franconians sooner, but it is what it is. We're not that deep in the culture hole, the cultural influence hole, so not too much sweat off my back. Let me just click through here and see if there's anything else interesting. Not really. No. So, on that note, for the moment, we leave little Luxembourg. I will be back. There's much left to do. I don't know if we will finish this up in just one more episode. Something tells me forming Germany is more of a marathon than a sprint, especially when you're trying to get over 500 locations and you have you have provinces the size of Scheschlitz. That was a bad example, especially when you have locations the size of Spermberg. It can be a real butter to go through and pick up all of the German regions. But we will carry on. So, if you enjoyed the video, go down in the comments, tell me what you liked about it. If you didn't, go down in the comments, tell me what you hated about it. While you're down there, like and subscribe, and stick around for the next one so that you can watch me be an idiot, because that's what I am. Either way, thank you very much for your eyes, ears, and time. This is Brown Dog 2, signing out.